guys! So, welcome back to the second part of our podcast, Lemon Lessons with Anusha. Now, if you haven't checked out the first bit, there's a link on the top right corner, so do give it a shot. In this episode, we will be talking about universe, tarot cards, energies, mental health, and anything and everything that goes around it. Really sorry, and I really apologize for the production again. I think I need to stop doing that. But nevertheless, do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. Bhai, tumhara kaafi mehnat kar raha hai yaar. Thoda help ho jayega. 3 cheers for Ranaita for being such an amazing guest and for being so real. Let's get started. Let's get going. I hope you enjoy the episode and the content that we're going to provide. Let's go. You are mystical. So this is also one part of your life which I really wanted to discuss. Like, I genuinely had no clue. I was just someone who was open to the idea of, energies and card readings and maybe astrology. And I did have like a base of understanding. I was like, कुछ तो है अगर इतने लोग बिलीव करते हैं ना लाइक एक्चुअली काफ़ी लोग हैं जो इस चीज़ में एक्चुअली बिलीव करते हैं लाइक स्टूपिड तो नहीं होंगे सब लोग कुछ तो हुआ होगा which have made them like this is something we believe in and they make decisions also on it.
I had been seeing my mom do tarots since I was a kid. And I saw how she used to do it. And my mom's always been a little, mystical, a little, she's always had this thing for saying that there is somewhere you have to be a dreamer. She's a dreamer. She dreams. She still believes that in those trees, there are those hollows, there's still fairies and gnomes inside it. She's like that. She lives in a very fantasy world. Not that she's a hardcore logical realist, very rational. But she also likes to have her own little world to live in. And I love that. And I grew up with that. And then I saw her do tarots. And she had certain rules and she had certain ways of doing tarot, which I loved. I thought it was so cool. Like, my mom never takes money. She says tarots is a gift. You're a medium. The whole idea of doing tarots is, one, it's advice cards. A lot of people have this thought process in their head that they think that tarots is supposed to be occult. It's got nothing to do with occult. It's got nothing to do with black magic. These are just advice cards. And you ask a question and you will get an advice out of it. There is nothing else I can add or put into this. What is beautiful is that it's not a game. Tarots is not something, and I unfortunately have so many people coming to me with the fact that they want to mock my tarot reading, in the sense that they have curiosity only to turn around and say, they think tarot is magic tricks. I'm not going to pull a rabbit out of the cards. I am not going to suddenly, I'm not telepathic. I'm not going to tell you what you don't know. So when people are doing when I am doing tarots, a lot of times I have had people turn around and say, अरे ये तो हम भी पढ़ के सुना देते. And lots of times I'll give them the book and say, हाँ तो पढ़ दो. Because I'm not reading a story, I'm interpreting the cards. I may read a little bit from the book to give you a general idea of what the card is. I already know it, but you should also be clear. There's clarity between us. And that is when you turn around and realize that this curiosity is not because, oh, I want answers or I want to know more. It's more to say, ha, you don't really know. This is a joke. So that's when I that's what pisses me off a lot. But I don't get into it. I don't fight. If you're ready, if you're there to mock me, I don't care. You're gonna be the one asking me the question. You're the one with a wrangled up energy. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. It's just that you're wasting my time. So with tarots, the main and the most biggest thing is your energy.
Yeah.
For me, I have to create, when I'm doing a reading. So my mom was the one who started. Again, let's go back. My mom taught me. Well, she didn't teach me. She used to do it. I used to sit around, love to watch her. And people used to have there were times when people would actually cry while listening to their reading, not because they're sad or happy, but, sometimes it resonates with you. Sometimes you need to hear something and you hear it and it like hits you really hard. And I used to love the fact that she had this aura about herself that just encompassed just that person getting the reading and her. There was nobody else. We could all be sitting there as an audience. Usually you don't, but you could be. And she'd had this magical feel to her, this mystical feel. And I was like, I kind of like liked it, you know?
Yeah.
And you're not, you know, the tarots, you don't play with another person's cards. You don't touch another reader's cards. If that's just a rule. I don't know if it's for everybody, but my mom had a hardcore rule saying that I, your energy lives in those cards. You cannot share it with anyone else. So nobody else can take your cards and start reading it. I mean, you, Anusha, cannot take my cards and start laying it out there and say, okay, I'll do a reading for myself. It's just not right. You're messing with the energies of the cards. So, I mean, it's like something very personal. And the other thing is that in tarots, the most beautiful thing is that there is no set answer. It's like advice. It's like talking to someone. And you could have turned around and asked me, Will, is it right for me to do this podcast now? I can turn around and give you an answer, or I can let the universe give you an answer. A lot of people think that this is, oh, what bullshit, what universe. If you believe in manifestation, if you believe in praying, if you believe in positive energies, optimism, and all of that, why can't you believe in something that is lying over there, not even doing anything wrong to you? You're so easily believing in illusions and the fact that a magic trick can exist. You can believe all of that. Why can't tarots be that? When tarots is just reading out some words to you that may or may not help you. And tarot is not all about positivity. It also gives you negative answers and answers that can really hit you and make you think. But because they're advice cards, nothing is doomed with them. It's not a curse. You read, you understand, you figure. But it's the tarots. I was 18 when I started doing it on my own. I experimented on my mom with my tarots. I experimented. My grandmother was a doctor, so she was all about science. She even used to torture God and ask him, prove to me you exist. So she had a whole other battle going on in her world. She was not into tarots. But anybody I could find, especially my mom's very close friend, fortunately she's no more, she was into all white magic and all of that. And she and I sat together a lot and did tarots. Mom taught me how to go about it. But tarots, on the whole, I started reading more, studying more, and then experimenting on a lot of people. On myself most. But you realize that self-reading is never as clear. It's always biased at some point of time. But I went off to school. I experimented on every friend that was possible to me. I went off to college. And that's when that journey began, when I went to college, because I had variety of people wanting to get readings done. And then I got good at it. And I'm not like trying to be all tooting my own horn and say, Kyare, I'm good at it. I genuinely enjoyed it to do. But ask your questions to the tarot cards. I'm sure it'll give you an answer.
Yeah.
Maybe not the desired one, but it also gives you an explanation as to what you should do ahead. What you can do, where you can cut your losses. It's just all of that. There is nothing more than understanding that you're getting advice from the universe and I'm just the one being a medium to you. But yes, if you come to me with a bad energy, I will feel it. I do feel energy. I do have a certain way I function when I'm doing tarots. And for me, so many times I've had such negative energy. And I'm the kind of person who likes to see positive energy in possibly everyone who's coming to me for a reading. And usually people who come to me for a reading are known people. I mean, I know them. But when it's a stranger, I open my heart because I don't know the stranger. Other people have shared your energies sooner or later. We've talked, we've chatted, we know. But when it's a stranger like yourself, I don't know what to expect from you. I don't know if you're coming to me with openness or not. You chose to come to me. So I hope that you will come to me with an open mind. And when you do, we will navigate this together. My whole idea is that we're on a journey. Let's navigate it together. Let's find you the answers. And every time when I do a reading, I turn around and tell them, I don't know if this has answered your question. And if you're not happy with it, I will redo it. Yeah. I don't care how many times it takes me to do your reading. I will do it till you find yourself feeling at peace. Sometimes you don't, and there's nothing much I can do. But that's how it works. That's what tarots is.
So, a few questions that I have in mind, but let's start from the basics of it. What is the process of tarot card reading? If someone comes up to you, what do you do? Like,
So in tarots, every tarot card reader has a different process. No tarot reader, I mean, usually I have met, are the same.
okay,
And everyone has their one trick that they do that is personal to them. Each tarot reader has a specific fan. The cards that they lay out, it's called a fan. There's a specific thing that they do, though they have more fans to do and they can do it that way, but they choose to, as a tarot reader, I choose to do this as my first thing for a person who's coming to get a reading done. My first thing is to sit and talk to them for 5 minutes. I don't want to get into tarots with them. I want to talk to them. I want to get to know what's up. Not your problems. I don't want to know your problems. I don't want to know what's hassling you. I just want to chat. Once you get that going, it becomes easy for the person sitting in front of you and talking to you and discussing certain aspects of their life or whatever. Just be comfortable with me, because that's all I need. That's why I usually do tarots in my house, in my room, because my room is so filled with colors and art and words and things that I will do my best to make you feel at home, like you're my friend and we're just hanging and we're just talking, and that's all that there is. And if I can make you feel that way, then I am halfway done. The next thing that I do is, now I'm just talking tarots, is I shuffle the cards so I can just let the tarots know to wake up. We're doing some work now. And then mine is to give the tarots to the person who's going to be asking the question, and they shuffle it. While they're shuffling it, I ask them to ask whatever the question is. Obviously, to be a little clear about what they want to ask. You cannot ask me ambiguous questions of where is my life going? Am I going to achieve great things in life? No, you have to be specific. Like, let's use you as an example. When you said that where should I choose career or should I hold back and do it later? Now, that is a question that I can do something with. The tarots can answer. The tarots are not going to say, Anusha, do this, do this. They're going to say, you have opportunities, trust your intuition, whatever, XYZ things they'll tell you. So that is like a specific question. If you ask me ambiguous questions, you'll get a very absurd answer as well. So my next thing is you shuffle, and I tell them, please, you're most welcome to ask it in your mind. While shuffling it, focus all your energy and all your question on that card while shuffling it. And usually 8 to 6 times, 6 to 8 times. And then next thing is I will hold the cards in one hand and I will hold the person's hand. For me, that's the way to get the energy that they have, that whatever they're feeling, to be able to see where we're at, what am I dealing with. It all sounds very hocus pocus, but it's not. It actually works. And I was just as surprised when I did this. It happened as an accident. Unfortunately, what I did was an accident. I was holding the cards and I held this person's hand, and this surge of warmth I felt. And I was like, okay, give me your other hand. And I was like, because I was experimenting anyway. And we held hands, and it was not falling in love, violins playing in the background and all that jazz. It was genuinely feeling what this other person in front of me is feeling. And I cannot tell you, oh, Anusha, you're feeling very sad because of this. I can only tell you you're feeling sad, or you're feeling maybe uneasy, uncomfortable. Is there something going on with you? Because I can feel that vibration. I know it doesn't sound plausible, but it is. If you're open enough, if your heart, if your brain, if you're not bogged down by life's miseries, I am very sure you'll feel it too. Anybody can, man. I'm not special. But I'm intuitive. That I will take. I'm very intuitive. So that's how I do it. Like, then the person will give me the cards. I lay out the fan, and each card, their placement why they are placed there, what does it mean, is all explained. I don't do anything without clarity. That's why my tarot card sessions are long, because I go into in-depth explaining. I don't want the person sitting in front of me say, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave my space by saying, you know what, I may not have got my desired answer, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
That makes me feel, okay, I did a good tarot session.
I did my job.
I helped someone and it was nice. And then that's what makes me happy, because I know how uneasy I've been, and tarots has been a way to alleviate some pain that I felt. When nobody can give you an answer, nothing, and you're saying, you're looking at the sky and saying, thinking if God will suddenly do something. Lots of people don't believe in God, lots of people don't believe in stuff. But if you do, and I did rely on tarots for a lot of things. Some were great, some were not good answers. But that's like talking to anybody. You can not always get top-notch, positive, honey and sugar laid out answers. But
Yes.
that's what it is, yeah.
And right now you mentioned a lot about energies, a lot about universe, a lot like the key words that you use right now, a lot about empathy also you spoke. What is your say on universe per se? Because there are a lot of things that, like, since social media has taken such a turn, there are so many posts that say, trust the process, universe has a plan for you, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And honestly, not shunning anything out, but I myself believe it, that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like, अगर वो अकॉर्डिंग मतलब मेरे शेड्यूल के हिसाब से नहीं चल रहा है, earlier I used to get very hassle of कि यार अरे यार ये तो मैंने सोचा था, ये तो ऐसे नहीं हो रहा है. But along the way I kind of prepped my mind that exactly where you're supposed to be. मतलब इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि घर पे आराम से कंबल तान के नेटफ्लिक्स देख रहे हैं. Exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's not what I mean. But what is your belief towards it? Like, firstly, why do you believe it? कुछ ऐसा हुआ? Or and what is your say towards the whole universe area and towards the whole energy? And also, I want to know more about energy. What do you mean by energy? Actually, 2 questions. Yeah.
I'll answer the first one. Where you're supposed to be, this whole thing about universe, where you're meant to be, where you're supposed to be, all this now, there are days that even I question it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going through a tough time, you think everybody is against you. The whole world is against you. The universe is against you. God is against you. The world is like I said, you feel nobody's on your side. But I think the universe does play a large role of who we are. And I think a lot of times when people talk about universe, and I've got very close friends who make fun of this and say, oh, what is astrology? What is numerology? What is this shit of it's such a generalized thing. It's such a generalized thing. ये तो किसी के लिए भी आंसर हो सकता है. हाँ, हो सकता है. बहुत सारी चीजें generalized है, मतलब मान लेते हैं. क्यों मान लेते हैं? मतलब जो advice तुम मुझे दे रही होगी about something could be very easily the same advice you could be giving somebody about, say, tweak it a little bit and become about a job, tweak it a little bit and become about parents, tweak it a little more but be about somebody else. Why is that not generalized? वो generalized चीज़ तुम तीन लोगों को बोलोगी ना, like you will say this to 3 other people, the same bloody thing, because it will work for them. That is generalized. But when you talk about universe and things beyond your understanding, then it's all rubbish. It's all, oh, it's so generalized. Why would you believe in something so fake and la la la? But honestly, yes, the universe does have a plan for you. Why I say it so sadly is because I'm very pissed off with the universe at the moment. But yes, they do. You'll believe God works in mysterious ways. I mean, there's a superpower. There's a higher power. You call it God, you call it magic, you call it anything you want. Give it any name you want. But that superpower, that magic, something is helping you. Something is listening to you. If I didn't go through my set of downs, I don't think I'd be a nicer person. If I only got riches and happiness, I'd be a very self-centered, conceited human being. I have been slapped up by life so much that I know for a fact that I can never turn around and be an asshole to someone. I have made so many mistakes in life that I know that I'm flawed, and so is everyone else in this world. We are all so flawed. But if we can understand that and move beyond it to be better people, then there is nothing like it. And so I think getting beaten down by my life, by things that happened in it, gave me a chance to understand that the universe has bigger plans. There are things that are happening. May not be happening the way I wanted it. Like you said, it's not on my schedule, but it's on some kind of a schedule and it'll happen. And I believe that it works in leaps and bounds. If you really, the power of manifestation is surreal if you actually believe in it. If there is no faith in anything, then don't expect to get anything either. Trust the process is a very beautiful line that is said. Because if you don't, then you will never believe in anything. So you have to make do with some things. Either believe in the magic or don't waste my time.
But I think all pain is necessary.
I mean, if I don't cry, I'm not going to appreciate my laughter. And crying is catharsis. I'm sorry, crying is cathartic. It's catharsis that I actually need. But what I'm trying to say is, if there is no loss, if I don't grieve, if I don't know pain, how am I supposed to know happiness? Like I said, if I'm not beaten down a couple of times, I'm not gonna be a nice person. Yes, I don't need the trauma. I'm not saying people need trauma in any way. Nobody needs trauma in any way to be good people. But I do believe that you need to be humbled. You need to be humbled from time to time.
There's a lot of people who are like, यार हमारे दिल टूटे तो कोई बात नहीं, हम भी 2-3 तोड़ लेंगे. But I don't think so. You should pass it on. Like, I mean, I understand and I'm sorry for you. And I'm like, not even sorry. I empathize. Okay, fine. But उधर ही stop कर देते हैं ना. Why do you want to
Because take it to you realize that it's like human nature. If I'm hurting, I want the other person hurting as well.
Yeah.
मेरा mood खराब है, मैं सबका mood खराब कर दूंगी. It's human nature. You when you're angry.
Yes.
Now you learn to be mindful. You learn to be. Take your pain, put it in a compartmentalize it, and put it in a box, and I'm gonna deal with it later.
Yeah.
Am I going to take it out on you because I've had a fight with my mom? Am I going to take it out on my partner because I've had a fight at my job? Was my partner going to take it out on me because he's had a bad day? No, you have to be mindful. You have to be clear about what's going on with you. We should, as human beings, always disregard our core strength to universe. Universe is doing what it's doing, but what about your core strength? What about the fact that you built yourself from something as well? In your 21, 22 years, you built something of yourself. Will you just break down and say, I give up on everything? I know I'm saying this and I'm preaching because I did. I gave up. I sat back and didn't believe in God, happiness, or anything. When fortunately, that's what anxiety and depression does to you. You sort of forget there's this world existing and you sort of forget that pain is so bad.
Yeah.
Pain takes such a toll on you and you forget such beautiful things that are happening around you. I don't know if the universe can hear me. I don't know what the universe has in store for me. No, the universe isn't coming down and sitting under my bloody tree and talking to me nights after nights. But I do know that my strength that I created out of a lot of pain and hurt deserves to be heard, deserves to come out in the forefront. And that's what you rely on. That's what you have. Otherwise, you'll be breaking down every 2-3 days. Yeah, there's so much pain in the world. Every day something or the other would be happening and you'll fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
And the other question that you had asked me was, what is energy? Energy is vibrations, man. It's like, you play a guitar. You play a guitar.
Yeah.
You don't do anything. You just hold the guitar. But you can feel that you've not strummed, you've not nothing. You've taken it out of your bag. You're holding it and then there's this vibration. Nothing's happening till you're holding it. Till you don't, with all your 4 fingers, hold the neck of the guitar, that thing will still be there. That sensation. That's energy.
That's energy.
You're all the time vibrating. You're all the time moving.
Yes.
That's all that it is.
Yeah.
The simplest bloody words I can explain it in.
Exactly. And I think everyone has a very unique energy to go forward.
For sure. Just like a face.
Yeah.
Just like your voice. Just like your everything. It's unique to you. It's unique to you. It's unique to... Yes.
Yeah. So what do you think is the difference between self-love and self-respect?
They're intertwined, no?
How are they like intertwining between each other? Because so I know for a fact, for a very I think for the longest time I've had self-love. Hey, bada
मैं अपनी favorite हूँ.
Huh?
मैं अपनी
हाँ.
favorite हूँ.
Full. From 18 years old, I think one of my birthday cakes also had written by my favorite too. It's everyone knows, and I think I radiate that also many a times. Ki, you know, isko no, if you say something to her, she won't be like, you know, oh no. I will be like I did something wrong, but I would take it upon myself, you know, I am the bad person. But I think the one thing that helped me come out of very toxic situations and relations was when I understood that, you know what, love ek taraf, yahan respect nahi mil rahi hai. These people are not understanding that, you know, I have something to put on the table and they're not respecting what I'm putting on the table. So that was one thing that made me like, you know, out. And a lot of people who I have, you know, been friends with and stuff, they told me that, you know, Anusha, you don't love yourself enough to, you know, pull back. But I think it's not about love. I think it's more about, you know, when you understand, you know, love to hai, self-love hai. But respect, self-respect, wo aane mein time laga. And that is when I got it. I was like, you know what, I can't really deal with all this. So what do you, I think that's my understanding of self-love and self-respect. But what do you think?
Would you like anyone who is disrespecting you constantly?
You know, there was a point when I didn't understand that they're disrespecting.
Nobody teaches us that. Nobody teaches us what self-respect should be like. Now, let me explain why I say that. Now, I fell in love very young, met someone, and didn't realize that in being in love, you give so much of yourself that you forget where the line is of disrespect. Small things will show you disrespect. Now, try and understand this. Sitting together, we're talking. My partner may be sitting here and he'll crack a joke that is making me look bad. But it's not a very bad joke. It's not very mean. You know when they say, "Arey, I was just pulling your leg." In that, from pulling your leg, you will see disrespect. How do you pull someone's leg? If you love them and you respect them, are you going to say something very nasty to them, or are you going to bring them out in the world and say something that might just prick them? Are you not going to be conscious enough to not say something like that? I'm okay with getting my leg pulled. I mean, I'll pull your leg. We'll joke. We'll play around. But there's a certain limit to that.
Yeah.
And I don't think when I was 15, 16 years old, I realized sitting in a group of friends that guy at the time saying something like this was disrespect. Everybody laughed. It was a good one, so I laughed. But that gave people the leverage to treat me like that, to say, oh, if her boyfriend can talk to her like this, then probably we can talk to her like this. You get treated shittily over and over and over again, and you don't realize it till one day it becomes big. And I think it came to me a little late because I had a lot of self-doubt. Actually, I wasn't like that. As a kid, I was like, the world lives because I exist. You know, like that. The world's my oyster. But as you grow up, self-doubt, all of that jazz. And I think in your teen years, you're so gawky and stressed out about how you look, how you talk, your voice is changing, your height, those hormones, everything is all over the freaking place. You're like in such a messed up state as is. And then you do a freaking relationship and a relationship with a guy who's almost the same age as you. It ain't pretty. I can tell you that. It ain't pretty. So you do it with, I just think relationships are, you get it. I'm just saying that at times, I think that brought me down. And that disrespect started from there. And it took me so long to realize it that by the time I put my foot down, I had to go through something so traumatic to realize, oh fuck, this is blatant disrespect. Then I got so overawed by my own anger that I had to put it in perspective to say, listen, I like myself. Yes, I have issues with myself, but I like myself enough for you to not fuck with me or to hurt me. I still get hurt. I still feel bad because when you love, you get hurt. It is a process. I am sorry, but you cannot do anything about it. What you can do is minimize the pain. What you can do is communication. But it is not a relationship thing. This is, I'm saying, when I realized disrespect, it was too late. I wish I'd listened When I was being told,
Yeah.
I didn't. I was too sure of myself that, oh, I know what's going on. I know what's happening. I don't need to know. I don't need to be told. I'm an adult. But it took me a while. And when I did, I've come to a point, even today, there are times when I feel maybe a friend would say something in passing and I'd be like, no, I'm not okay with that. And they'll tell us, but it was a joke. Yes, to you, not to me. And I have to stop disrespecting myself. I cannot make myself a butt of your jokes. So if I'm feeling uncomfortable, what I used to do was, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'd make myself the joker. I'd point the joke at me only. I'd use myself as a catalyst and do it and make a joke, and everybody will be like, ha ha ha, she's so funny, la la la, and you move on with life. Not realizing that you have portrayed yourself in that light. You have let yourself to be believed to be this kind of a person. So I had, there are times when you have to tell yourself this much and not more than that.
Yeah.
And if you can understand that that compartmentalization, then you will understand that self-love and self-respect are like this, like this. So you cannot like move away from one from the other. And that's about it. That's about it.
Now, last question, I think, of the podcast that I have. When you said this, that, people of my age, they're so concerned about how they look, what they're saying, how they're walking, how they're portraying themselves out there. Lately, they constantly talk about people. Like, I don't know why there is no talks about experiences or about subjects. It's about people. What is that person wearing? What is that person doing? What is, like, I want to know, what is your say? I will actually sound
क्यों मरवा रही है मेरे को ये सब बात करवा के? I've got other people in the world to talk to. You're getting me screwed. They'll all be like this, how holier than thou, virtuous attitude Ranaita has, stupid. Like, as if I have not done that personally. Oh God, you. I'll sound like such a hypocrite with this word, yeah.
all do. We all do. There are times when I also go out and be like, oh my God, उसने क्या पहन रखा है? That is true. But it's okay if people are talking about this. How do you cope up with this? How do you not let yourself get affected? Because it's okay. Parcel, सब बात करते हैं यार. It's fine. But how do you be like, you know what? It's fine. ठीक है. Have you been in a position like?
I've been in a position where I've talked.
Yeah.
And I've been talked about.
Yeah.
But I've been in the position first of being talked about.
Hmm.
That's the process that you don't like. See, the thing is, we all talk about each other. It's human nature. We all chit-chat about one another. We give each other gossip. But I really, really try that I consciously don't. I have to consciously remind myself, don't be a bitch. Don't be bitchy. Don't be like that. You don't know what the other person is going through. I think I stopped that at in my early 20s, say about 21, 22, I stopped doing that. I stopped talking about people because gossip is the worst thing. In college, especially college, gossip can take you into the worst places. And that happened to me. So sometimes I think you need to realize that talking about people is not the best thing. You have to consciously not do it. This is for people who do it. Should not do it. So I think you should not talk about other people. Or at least the way they walk, dress, their personality, all of that. See, people are going to piss you off and you're going to be like venting about them and all of that jazz. And there's no stopping that. Even I do it. But consciously not being a bitch and talking crap about a person behind their back is something that because when it's done to you, now it's not a very nice feeling. Being called a slut or being called a whore or being called somebody who's like the kind of person who'll get you into trouble, or, so many things are said about you and you're not that. When you hear it about yourself, you're like, but I am not that sort of a person. Why would you ever think I'd do something like that? But I must have made that mistake. I must have, in passing, without realizing, said something to a person and they heard it and they felt bad and you don't know. So I think, one, don't do it. It's not nice. Secondly, I think to cope with it is the only way is to be sure of yourself.
Yeah.
Which is not easy. cannot begin to tell you how it's not easy to deal with someone who is feeling, who's got, if they have a low self esteem, if their confidence is low, if they are not happy with themselves, and they hear something as shit as that. I think it's not easy to tell yourself, "Arey yaar, fuck it, I don't care." Let them talk. I took me a long time to understand that, fine, talk, man. But the only way to cope with it is say, look at yourself in the fucking mirror and look at yourself. You are a work of art. Everything about you is so unique, is so beautiful. I don't care if you're getting hair on your upper lip and it's consistent. I don't give a shit if you don't want to wax. I don't care if you're getting a beard, not getting a beard, you're balding, you're not balding. It does not matter. You're just great in your own self. And yes, you may have annoying habits, you may be whatever, but let that not come in the middle of the fact that you are also letting a large part of yourself being taken down. And if that happens, you're going to never be good enough. You're always going to find ways to let the other person get to you. And so and as a kid, as a teenager, you're very susceptible to that shit. You'll be like, yeah, I believe you. But as you're growing older, just remind yourself that you're really chill. Your vibe is great. You're good. Accept your flaws. Don't be disillusioned.
Yeah.
But love yourself. Be cool. I'm not preaching. I'm not trying to be preachy. I'm not trying to be this virtuous person. I'm just trying to say that we all are in such deep shit. The world is going to shits. We're all in a place that we need to just understand that the world needs a little more love and a little less hate.